Introduction. Your agreement to these terms of service. Please read these terms of service carefully. This is a binding contract. Welcome to the services operated by Twitch Interactive, Inc., collectively with its affiliates, Twitch or We, consisting of the website available at https://www.twitch.tv and its network of websites and software applications and any other products or services offered by Twitch, the Twitch services. Other services offered by Twitch may be subject to separate terms. When using the Twitch services, you will be subject to Twitch's community guidelines and additional guidelines or rules that are posted on the Twitch services made available to you or disclosed to you in connection with specific services and features you may be offered. And Twitch may also offer certain paid services which are subject to the Twitch terms of sale, as well as any additional terms or conditions that are disclosed to you in connection with such services. All such terms and guidelines, the guidelines, are incorporated into these terms of service by reference. Terms of service apply whether you are a user that registers an account with the Twitch services or an unregistered user. You agree that by clicking sign up or otherwise registering, downloading, accessing, or using the Twitch services, you are entering into a legally binding agreement between you and Twitch regarding your use of the Twitch services. Acknowledge that you've read, understood, and agreed to be bound by these terms of service. If you do not agree to these terms of service, do not access or otherwise use any of the Twitch services. When using Twitch or opening an account with Twitch on behalf of a company, entity, or organization, collectively subscribing organization, you represent and warrant that you are authorized representative of that subscribing organization with the authority to bind that organization to these terms of service and grant the licenses set forth herein, and to agree to these terms of service on behalf of such subscribing organization. In Twitch, 2. Use of Twitch by minors and blocked persons. The Twitch services are not available to persons under the age of 13. If you are between the ages of 13 and the legal age and the age of legal majority in your jurisdiction of residence, you may only use the Twitch services under the supervision of a parent or legal guardian who agrees to be bound by these terms of service. And Twitch services are also not available to any users previously removed from the Twitch services by Twitch or to any persons barred from receiving them under the laws of the United States, such as its export and re-export restrictions and regulations, or applicable laws in any other jurisdiction. By downloading, installing, or otherwise using the Twitch services, you represent that you are at least 13 years of age, that your parent or legal guardian agrees to be bound by these terms of service, if you are between 13 and the age of legal majority in your jurisdiction of residence, and you have not been previously removed from and are not prohibited from receiving the Twitch services. Three, privacy notice. Your privacy is important to Twitch. Please see our privacy notice for information relating to how we collect, use, and disclose your personal information, and our privacy choices on how you can manage your online privacy when you use the Twitch services. Ooh, big piece of chicken. 4. Account. A. Account and password. In order to open an account, you will be asked to provide us with certain information, such as an account name and password. You are solely responsible for maintaining the confidentiality of your account, your password, and for restricting access to your computer. If you permit others to use your account credentials, you agree to these terms of service on behalf of all other persons who use the services under your account or password, and you are responsible for all activities that occur under your account or password. Please make sure the information you provide to Twitch upon registration and at all other times is true, accurate, current, and complete to the best of your knowledge. Unless expressly permitted in writing by Twitch, you may not sell, rent, lease, transfer, share, or provide access to your account to anyone else, including, without limitation, charging anyone for access to administrative rights on your account. Excuse me, that's gross. The whole video is gross. What am I talking about? Twitch reserves all available legal rights and remedies to prevent unauthorized use of the Twitch services, including but not limited to technological barriers, IP mapping, and in serious cases, directly contacting your internet service provider (ISP) regarding such unauthorized use. B. Third-party accounts. Twitch may permit you to register for and log on to the Twitch services via certain third-party services. The third party's collection, use, and disclosure of your information will be subject to that third-party service's privacy notice. Further information about how Twitch collects, uses, and discloses your personal information when you link your Twitch account with your account on any third-party service can be found in our privacy notice. Five, use of devices and services. Access to the Twitch services may require the use of your personal computer or mobile device, as well as communications with or use of space on such devices. You're responsible for any internet connection or mobile fees and charges from third parties that you incur when accessing the Twitch services. Oh, my dog wants out of my room. Hold on. Go on. Hold on. Theo locked himself on the other side of the baby gate. Hold on. Oh, no, never mind. He got it. No, but, okay, you want in? You're just gonna want out in a minute. I know you are. Alright, he wants my Taco Bell. Where was I? 6. Modification of these terms and services. Twitch may amend any of the terms of these terms of service by posting the amended terms and updating the last modified date above. Your continued use of the Twitch services after the effective date of the revised terms of service constitutes your acceptance to the terms. For residents of the Republic of Korea, Twitch will provide reasonable prior notice regarding any material amendments to its terms of service. All amendments shall become effective no sooner than 30 calendar days after posting, provided that any amendment regarding newly available features of the service that are beneficial to the user, or changes made for legal reasons may become effective immediately. For residents of the European Union or the European Economic Area, the United Kingdom, or Switzerland, who are acting as a consumer, i.e. for a purpose which can be regarded as being outside your trade, craft, or profession, consumer, and have registered a Twitch account, Twitch will provide reasonable prior notice of amendments to these terms of service. To the extent permitted by applicable law, not canceling your agreement to use the Twitch services under these terms of service before the effective date will be deemed your consent to the amended terms. Where required by applicable law, Twitch will ask for your consent to the amended terms. 7. Got a big one ahead. Twitch services are owned and operated by Twitch. Unless otherwise indicated, all content, information, and other materials on the Twitch services, excluding user content set out in Section 8 below, including without limitation, Twitch's trademarks and logos, the visual interfaces, graphics design, compilation, information, software, computer code, including source code or object code, services, text, pictures, information, data, sound files, other files, and the selection and arrangement thereof, collectively the materials, are protected by relevant intellectual property and proprietary. I don't know how to pronounce that word. Proprietary right. I'm just gonna go with that. Rights and laws. All materials are the property of Twitch or subsidiaries or affiliated companies and/or third-party licensors, unless otherwise expressly stated in writing by Twitch. By agreeing to these terms of service, you are granted a limited, non-sublicensable, and non-transferable license, i.e., a personal limited right, to access and use the Twitch services for your personal use or internal business use only. Twitch reserves all rights not expressly granted in these terms of service. This license is subject to these terms of service and does not permit you to engage in any of the following. A. Resale or commercial use of the Twitch services or the materials. B. Distribution, public performance, or public display of any materials. C. Modifying or otherwise making any derivative uses of the Twitch services or the materials or any portion of them. D. Use of any data mining, robots, or similar data gathering or extraction methods. E. Downloading, except page caching, of any portion of the Twitch services, the materials, or any information contained in them, except as expressly permitted on the Twitch services. Or F. Any use of the Twitch services or the materials except for their intended purposes. Any use of the Twitch services or the materials except as specifically authorized in these terms of service, without the prior written permission of Twitch, is strictly prohibited and may violate intellectual property rights or other laws unless explicitly stated in these terms of service. Nothing in them shall be interpreted as conferring any license to intellectual property rights, whether by... I've never seen this word. Estoppel? Sure. Implication or other legal principles. Twitch can terminate this license as set out in Section 17. Wait, how long has it been? This needs to be, like, explicitly directly an hour. It's been 10 minutes. Okay. It's been 10 minutes. Oh, God. 10 minutes. It's been 10 minutes. User content. Twitch allows you to distribute streaming live and pre-recorded audio-visual works. To use services such as chat, bulletin boards, forum postings, wiki contributions, and voice interactive services. To participate in other activities in which you may create, post, transmit, perform, or store content, messages, text, sound, images, applications, code, or other data or materials on the Twitch services. User content. For residents of the Republic of Korea, distribution of pre-recorded audio-visual works and video on demand, related features and functions, included but not limited to clips, highlights, and other uploaded content, may not be available. A. License to Twitch. 1. Unless otherwise agreed to in a written agreement between you and Twitch, that was signed by an authorized representative of Twitch, you submit, transmit, display, perform, post, or store user content using the Twitch services. Grant Twitch and its sublicenses to the furthest extent and for the maximum duration permitted by applicable law, including in perpetuity, if permitted under applicable law, an unrestricted, worldwide, irrevocable, fully sublicensable, non-exclusive, and royalty-free right to A. Use, reproduce, modify, adapt, publish, translate, create derivative works from, distribute, perform, and display such user content, including without limitation promoting and redistributing part, or all of the Twitch services and derivative works thereof in any form, format, media, or media channels now known or later developed or discovered, and B. Use the name, identity, likeness, and voice or other biographical information that you submit in connection with such user content, which can exercise these rights in connection with monetizing the Twitch services. Should such user content contain the name, identity, likeness, and voice, or other biographical information of third parties, you represent and warrant that you have obtained the appropriate consents and or licenses for your use of such features, and that Twitch and its sublicenses are allowed to use them to the extent indicated in these terms of service. 2. With respect to user content known as add-ons, maps, mods, or other types of projects submitted through curseforge.com or similar sites, the submitted projects, rights granted to you hereunder, or grants granted by you hereunder terminate once you remove or delete such submitted projects from the Twitch services. You also acknowledge that Twitch may retain but not display, distribute, or perform server copies of submitted projects you have removed or deleted. 3. With respect to streaming live and pre-recorded audiovisual works, the rights granted to you hereunder terminate once you delete such user content from the Twitch services, or generally by closing your account, except A. to the extent you shared it with others as part of the Twitch services, and others copied or stored portions of the user content, e.g. made a clip. B. Twitch used it for promotional purposes. C. For the reasonable time it takes to remove and back up in other systems. Or D. Twitch is required by applicable law to retain it. Why does it keep going? There's so many. Wow. User content representations and warranties. You are solely responsible for your user content and the consequences of posting or publishing it. You represent and warrant that 1. You are the creator or own or control all rights in and to the user content, or otherwise have sufficient rights and authority to grant the rights granted herein. 2. Your user content does not and will not A. infringe, violate, or misappropriate any third-party right, including any copyright, trademark, patent, trade secret, moral right, privacy right, right of publicity, or any other intellectual property or property right, or B. defame any other person. 3. Your user content does not contain any viruses, adware, spyware, worms, or other harmful or malicious code. And 4. Unless you have received prior written authorization, your user content specifically does not contain any pre-release or non-public beta software or game content, or any confidential information of Twitch or third parties. Twitch reserves all rights and remedies against any users who breach these representations and warranties. C. Content is uploaded at your own risk. Twitch uses reasonable security measures in order to attempt to protect user content against unauthorized copying and distribution. However, Twitch does not guarantee that any unauthorized copying, use, or distribution of user content by third parties will not take place. To the furthest extent permitted by applicable law, you hereby agree that Twitch shall not be liable for any unauthorized copying, use, or distribution of user content by third parties, and release and forever waive any claims you may have against Twitch for any such unauthorized copying or use of the user content under any theory. To the extent permitted by applicable law, the security measures to protect user content used by Twitch herein are provided and used as is, and with no warranties, guarantees, conditions, assurances, or other terms that such security measures will withstand attempts to evade security mechanisms, or that there will be no cracks, disablements, or other circumvention of such security measures. D. Promotions. Users may promote, administer, or conduct a promotion, e.g. a contest or sweepstakes, on, through, or utilizing the Twitch services. A promotion, provided that if you choose to do so, you must adhere to the following rules. 1. You may carry out promotions to the extent permitted by applicable law, and you are solely responsible for ensuring that any promotions comply with any and all applicable laws, obligations, and restrictions. 2. You will be classified as a promoter of your promotion in the applicable jurisdictions, and you will be solely responsible for all aspects of and expenses related to your promotion, including without limitation the execution, administration, and operation of the promotion, drafting and posting any official rules, selecting winners, issuing prizes, and obtaining all necessary third-party permissions and approvals, including without limitation filing any and all necessary registrations and bonds. Twitch has the right to remove your promotion from the Twitch services if Twitch reasonably believes that your promotion does not comply with the terms of service or applicable law. 3. Twitch is not responsible for and does not endorse or support any such promotions. You may not indicate that Twitch is a sponsor or co-sponsor of the promotion. And 4. You will display or read out the following disclaimer when promoting, administering, or conducting a promotion. Quote, "This is a promotion by your name. Twitch does not sponsor or endorse this promotion and is not responsible for it." Oh, 1 second. Sorry, Arthur may be joining us today. E. Political activity. Subject to these terms of service and the community guidelines, you may share political opinions, participate in political activity, provide links to a political committee's official website, including the contribution page of a political committee, and solicit viewers to make contributions directly to a political committee. You agree, however, that these activities are entirely your own. Moreover, by engaging in these activities, you represent and warrant that you are eligible, to engage in them under applicable law, and you will abide by all relevant laws and regulations while doing so. You agree not to solicit the use of or use any Twitch monetization tool, e.g. bits or subscriptions, for the purpose of making or delivering a contribution to a candidate, candidate's committee, political action committee, ballot committee, or any other campaign committee, or otherwise for the purpose of influencing any election. Candidates for political office are not eligible to use any Twitch monetization tool on their channels. How far does this go? This goes to 17. No. 21. This is gonna be fun. It's really fun. Why did I decide to do this? Why did I make this a bit throughout the entirety of my channel history? 9. Branded content. Twitch recognizes that some users collaborate with brands and may publish branded content, which is any user featuring, using, discussing, or promoting products, services, or specific content in exchange for something of value. This is being paid or provided with goods or services. Branded content includes without limitation paid product placements, endorsements, and sponsorships. This allows you to publish branded content using the Twitch services, provided that your branded content complies with these terms of service and applicable law. Choose to publish branded content. if you've made it this far, I would like to say I usually don't talk while chewing. Like, I feel bad to eat to talk with my mouth full, but for the sake of the video, that's exactly what's going to keep happening. If you choose to publish branded content on the Twitch services, you agree to use Twitch's branded content tool, which provides a written disclosure to viewers that your live stream contains branded content. In addition, you agree that you are solely responsible for ensuring that your branded content complies with any and all applicable advertising laws, regulations, and guidelines, including without limitation the U.S. Federal Trade Commission's guidelines, the advertising guidelines. For example, if you've been paid or provided with free product in exchange for discussing or promoting a product or service through the Twitch services, or if you were an employee of a company and you discuss or promote that company's products or services through the Twitch services, you agree to comply with the advertising guidelines requirements for disclosing such relationships to indicate the commercial nature of the branded content. And 10. Prohibited content. You agree not to violate any law, contract, intellectual property, or other third-party right, not to commit a tort, and you are solely responsible for your conduct while on the Twitch services. You agree and comply with the terms of service and Twitch's community guidelines will not 1. Create, upload, transmit, distribute, or store any content that is inaccurate, unlawful, infringing, defamatory, obscene, pornographic, invasive of privacy or publicity rights, harassing, threatening, abusive, inflammatory, or otherwise objectionable. 2. Impersonate any person or entity, falsely claim an affiliation with any person or entity, access the Twitch services accounts of others without permission, forge another person's digital signature, misrepresent the source identity of your current or content of information transmitted via the Twitch services, perform any similar fraudulent activity. 3. Oh, one second. I have a daily gift on Egg Inc. Okay, sorry. 3. Send junk mail or spam to users of the Twitch services, including without limitation unsolicited advertising, promotional materials, or other solicitation material, bulk mailing of commercial advertising, chain mail, informational announcements, charity requests, petitions for signatures, or any of the preceding things related to promotional giveaways such as raffles and contests or other similar activities. 4. Harvest or collect email addresses or other contact information of users from the Twitch services. 5. Defame, harass, abuse, threaten, or defraud users of the Twitch services or attempt to collect personal information about users or third parties without their consent. 5. Delete, remove, circumvent, disable, damage, or otherwise interfere with A. Security-related features of the Twitch services or user content. B. Features that prevent or restrict use of copying of any content accessible through the Twitch services. C. Features that enforce limitations on the use of the Twitch services or user content. Or D. The copyright or other proprietary uses or other proprietary rights notices on the Twitch services or user content. 6. Reverse engineer, decompile, disassemble, or otherwise attempt to discover the source code of the Twitch services or any part thereof, except and only to the extent that this activity is expressly permitted by the law of your jurisdiction of residence. 8. Modify, adapt, translate, or create derivative works based on the Twitch services or any part thereof, except and only to the extent that such activity is expressly permitted by applicable laws, notwithstanding this limitation. Why is it notwithstanding? I didn't know that was all one word in this context. 9. Interfere with or damage the operation of the Twitch services or any user's enjoyment of them by any means, including uploading or otherwise disseminating viruses, adware, spyware, worms, or other malicious code. Excuse me. X. Relay email from a third party's mail service without the permission of that third party. It's an oddly specific one. Who did this? 11. Access any website, server, software application, or other computer resource owned, used, and or licensed by Twitch, including but not limited to the Twitch services, by any means of any robot, spider, scraper, crawler, or other automated means for any purpose, or bypass any measures Twitch may use to prevent or restrict access to any website, server, software application, or other computer resource owned, used, and or licensed by Twitch, including but not limited to the Twitch services. I'm starting to run out of quesadilla here. On my last like 3 bites. I'm going to slow it down. This needs to last me an hour or I'm just going to become bored. I mean, I kind of already am. But you get the point. Where was I? Yes, 12. Manipulate identifiers in order to disguise the origin of any user content transmitted through the Twitch services. 13. Interfere with or disrupt the Twitch services or servers or networks connected to the Twitch services, or disobey any requirements, procedures, policies, or regulations of the networks connected to the Twitch services. Use the Twitch services in any manner that would interfere with, disrupt, negatively affect, or inhibit other users from fully enjoying the Twitch services, or that could damage, disable, overburden, or impair the functioning of the Twitch services in any manner. 14. User attempt to use another user's account without authorization from that user in Twitch. Why do Twitch give authorization to do that? That's interesting. What context, what situation would that be in? 15. Attempt to circumvent any content filtering techniques we employ, or attempt to access any service or area of the Twitch services that you are not authorized to access. 16. Attempt to indicate in any manner without our prior written permission that you have a relationship with us, or that we have endorsed you or any products or services for any purpose. And 17. Use the Twitch services for any illegal purpose or in violation of any local, state, national, or international law or regulation, including, without and limitation, laws governing intellectual property and other proprietary rights, data protection, and privacy. To the extent permitted by applicable law, Twitch takes no responsibility and assumes no liability for any user content or for any loss or damage resulting therefrom, nor is Twitch liable for any mistakes, defamation, slander, libel, omissions, falsehoods, obscenity, pornography, or profanity you may encounter when using the Twitch services. Your use of the Twitch services is at your own risk. In addition, these rules do not create any private right of action on the part of any third party or any reasonable expectation that Twitch services will not contain any content that is prohibited by such rules. Twitch is not liable for any statements or representations included in user content. Twitch does not endorse any user content, opinion, recommendation, or advice expressed therein, and to the extent permitted by applicable law, Twitch expressly disclaims any and all liability in connection with user content. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, Twitch reserves the right to remove, screen, or edit any user content posted or stored on the Twitch services at any time and without notice, including where such user content violates these terms of service or applicable law. And you're solely responsible for creating backup copies of and replacing any user content you post or store on the Twitch services at your sole cost and expense. Any use of the Twitch services in violation of the foregoing violates these terms of service and may result in, among other things, termination or suspension of your rights to use the Twitch services. For residents of the Republic of Korea, except in the case where Twitch reasonably considers that giving notice is legally prohibited, for instance, in providing notice would either 1. Violate applicable laws, regulations, or orders from regulatory authorities, or 2. Compromise an ongoing investigation conducted by regulatory authority, yet any notice may cause harm to you, third parties, Twitch, and/or its affiliates. For instance, when providing notice harms the security of the Twitch services, Twitch will without delay notify you of the reason for taking the relevant step. For residents of the European Union or European Economic Area, the United Kingdom, or Switzerland who are acting as a consumer, 1. Twitch will remove screen. Twitch will only remove screen or edit user content for justified reasons, including without limitation where such user content violates these terms of service or applicable law, and 2. Except where such notice would be unreasonable or legally prohibited considering the specific circumstances of the individual case, Twitch will without delay notify you of the reason for taking the relevant step. This looks like acid. Mountain Dew is awful. I hate it so much. 11. Simulcasting. When you're streaming live on the Twitch services, you may not simultaneously live stream. Okay, yes, simulcast, that makes sense. You may not simultaneously live stream or broadcast on any other Twitch-like service, meaning any web-based network, platform, or service that supports live streaming of user-generated content without advance written permission from Twitch. For clarity, you may simulcast on mobile-first services that support live streaming. The second does not apply to non-profit or government entities that are live streaming for non-commercial purposes. 12. Advertisements. Twitch has the exclusive right to monetize the Twitch services, including without limitation the exclusive right to sell, serve, and display advertisements on the Twitch services. Third-party advertising networks are not allowed to serve advertising through the Twitch services. However, you can publish branded content using the Twitch services as set forth in Section 9 above. 13. Respecting copyright. Twitch respects the intellectual property of others and follows the requirements set forth in the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, and other applicable laws. If you are the copyright owner or agent thereof and believe that content posted on the Twitch services infringes upon your copyright, please submit a notice following our DMCA guidelines, which include further information about our policies, what to include in your notice, and where to submit your notice. 14. Trademarks. Twitch, the Twitch logos, and any other product or service name, logo, or slogan used by Twitch, and the look and feel of the Twitch services, including all page headers, custom graphics, button icons, and scripts, are trademarks or trade dress of Twitch, and may not be used in whole or in part in connection with any product or service that is not Twitch's, in any manner that is likely to cause confusion among customers, or in any manner that disparages or discredits Twitch without prior written permission. Any use of these trademarks must be in accordance with the Twitch trademark guidelines. All of the trademarks referenced referenced in the Twitch services are the property of their respective owners. Reference on the Twitch services to any product, services, processes, or other information by trade name, trademark, manufacturer, supplier, or otherwise does not constitute or imply endorsement, sponsorship, or recommendation, therefore, or thereof, by us or any other affiliation. 15. Third-party content. In addition to the user content, Twitch may provide other third-party content on the Twitch services, collectively third-party content. Twitch does not control or endorse any third-party content and makes no representation of warranties of any kind regarding third-party content, including without limitation regarding its accuracy or completeness. Please be aware that we do not create third-party content, update, or monitor it. Therefore, to the extent permitted by applicable law, we are not responsible for any third-party content on the Twitch services. You are responsible for deciding if you want to access your third-party websites or applications that link from the Twitch services, the reference sites. And Twitch does not control or endorse any such reference sites or the information, materials, products, and services contained on or accessible through reference sites. It makes no representations or warranties of any kind regarding the reference sites. In addition, your correspondence or business dealings with or participation in promotions of advertisers found on or through the Twitch services are solely between you and such advertiser. Access and use of reference sites, including the information, materials, products, and services on or available through reference sites, is solely at your own risk. I think I'm going to read this before an hour's up. Got 30 minutes. 16. Idea submission. By submitting idea suggestions, documents, and/or proposals, the submissions, to Twitch or its employees, you acknowledge and agree that Twitch shall be entitled to use or disclose those submissions for any purpose in any way without providing compensation or credit to you. 17. Termination. You may terminate your license to use the Twitch services in this terms of service agreement at your discretion at any time by ceasing to use the Twitch services, or if you are a registered user, by deleting your Twitch account. For residents of the European Union, or the European Economic Area, or of the United Kingdom, who are acting as a consumer, you may have your right to withdraw from or cancel the agreement for the use of the Twitch services under these terms of service without a specific cooling off period. When and how this right may apply is explained in our EU, EEA, and UK Consumer Right of Withdrawal information. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, Twitch reserves the right, without notice and at our sole discretion, to stop providing the services or any features to you, and to users generally, to terminate this terms of service agreement with you, to terminate your license to use the Twitch services, including to post user content, and to block or prevent your future access to and use of the Twitch services for any reason, including without limitation, if A. Your use of the Twitch services violates these terms of service or applicable law, B. You fraudulently use or misuse the Twitch services, or C. We are unable to continue providing the Twitch services to you due to technical or legitimate business reactions. Excuse me. Our right to terminate our services, this agreement, and your license includes the ability to terminate or to suspend your access to any purchased products or services, including any subscriptions, Prime Gaming, or Turbo accounts, to the fullest extent permitted by applicable law. Your only remedy with respect to any dissatisfaction with 1. Twitch services, 2. Any term of these terms of services, 3. Any policy or practice of Twitch in operating Twitch services, or 4. Any content or information transmitted through the Twitch services is to terminate your account and to discontinue use of any and all parts of the Twitch service. For residents in the Republic of Korea, and for residents of the European Union or the European Economic Area, the United Kingdom, or Switzerland who are acting as a consumer, except in the case where Twitch reasonably considers that giving notice is legally prohibited, for instance, when providing notice would either 1. Violate applicable laws, regulations, or orders from regulatory authorities, or 2. Compromise an ongoing investigation conducted by a regulatory authority, or that any notice may cause harm to you, third parties, Twitch, and/or its affiliates. For instance, when providing notice harms the security of the Twitch services, Twitch will without delay notify you of the reason for its action. Okay, maybe I won't get done before now. Wow, this one's just very long. 18. Disputes. A. Indemnification. I'm out of Tacobell now. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, you agree to indemnify, defend, and hold harmless Twitch, its affiliated companies, and each of our respective contractors, employees, officers, directors, agents, third-party suppliers, licensors, and partners, individually and collectively, the Twitch parties, for any claims, losses, damages, demands, expenses, costs, and liabilities, including legal fees and expenses arising out of or related to your access, use, or misuse of the Twitch services, any user content you post, store, or otherwise transmit in or through the Twitch services, for violation of the rights of any third party and of any violation by you of these terms of service, or any branch of the representations, warranties, and covenants made by you herein. You agree to promptly notify the Twitch parties of any third-party claim. Twitch reserves the right at your expense to consume the exclusive defense and control of any matter for which you are required to indemnify Twitch. You agree to cooperate with it with Twitch's defense of these claims. Twitch will use reasonable effects to notify you of any such claim, action, or proceeding upon becoming aware of it. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, anyways. B, disclaimers, no warranties. No warranties. To the fullest... Wow, this is... Do I have to scream this one? Hold on. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law and except as stated in subsection 2 below. A, the Twitch services and the content and materials contained herein therein are provided on an as-is basis without warranties of any kind, either expressed or implied, except as expressly provided to the contrary in writing by Twitch. B, the Twitch parties disclaim all other warranties, statutory, express, or implied, including but not limited to the Twitch services, including any information, content, or materials contained therein. C. Twitch does not represent or warrant that the content or materials of the Twitch services are accurate, complete, reliable, current, or error-free. D. Twitch is not responsible for typographical errors or omissions relating to text or photography. And E. While Twitch attempts to make your access and use of the Twitch services safe, Twitch cannot and does not represent or warrant that Twitch services or our servers are free of viruses or other harmful components, and therefore you should use industry-recognized software to detect and disinfect viruses from any download. No advice or information, whether oral or written, obtained by you from Twitch or through the Twitch services will create any warranty not expressly stated herein. There we go. 2. EU, EEA, UKCH warranty rights. For residents of the European Union or the European Economic Area, the United Kingdom, or Switzerland, or acting as a consumer, there are warranty rights under applicable law in case of any non-conformity of digital content and services. Such rights shall remain unaffected by these terms of service. In such a case, Twitch offers no further implied or statutory warranties or conditions with regard to digital content and services, and explicitly disclaims all implied warranties and conditions to the maximum extent permitted by applicable law. You acknowledge that we may change the Twitch services from time to time without causing its non-conformity, including when needed to comply with applicable law or regulation, or for justified commercial, security, or operational reasons, and including to make any improvements to your access to the Twitch services. I need to breathe for a second. I feel. C. Limitation of liability and damages. Oh, I gotta yell this. Oh, I'm still... Feels like a breather from the last yelling bit. Alright. How long is it? Okay. Oh, there's more down there. Okay. 1. Limitation of liability. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, A. In no event shall Twitch or the Twitch parties be liable for any direct, special, indirect, or consequential damages, or any other damage of any kind, including but not limited to negligent, including but not limited to loss of use, loss of profits, or loss of data, whether in an action or contract, tort, including but not limited to negligence, or otherwise arising out of, or in any way connected with the use of, or inability to use the Twitch services, the content or the materials, including without limitation any damages caused by our interruptions, deletion of files or email errors, defects, viruses, delays in operation or transmission, or any destruction or unauthorized access to its records, programs, and services. And B, in no event shall the aggregate liability of Twitch, whether in contract, warranty, tort, including negligence, whether active, passive, or imputed, product liability, strict liability, or other theory arising out of or relating to the use of or inability to use Twitch services exceeded the amount paid by you, if any, for accessing the Twitch services during the 12 months immediately preceding the date of the claim, or $100, whichever is greater, to the extent that applicable law prohibits limitation of such liability. Twitch shall limit its liability to the full extent allowed by applicable law. To the extent required by applicable law, nothing in these terms shall restrict your liability for death or personal injuries caused by Twitch. What circumstances would Twitch cause death? What? For damages caused by Twitch's fraud, willful misconduct, or gross negligence, for other losses that may not be excluded or limited by applicable law. 2. Reference sites. Oh, God. These limitations of liability also apply with respect to damages incurred by you by reason of any products or services sold or provided on any reference sites or otherwise by third parties other than Twitch and received through or advertised on the Twitch services or received through any reference sites. 3. Basis of the bargain. You acknowledge and agree that Twitch has offered the Twitch services, user content materials, and other content and information, set its prices, and entered into these terms of service in reliance upon the warranty disclaimers and limitations of liability set forth herein. The warranty disclaimers and limitations of liability set forth herein reflect the reasonable and fair allocation of risk between you and Twitch. The warranty disclaimers and limitations of liability set forth herein form an essential basis of the bargain between you and Twitch. Twitch would not be able to remove the Twitch services to you on an economically reasonable basis without these limitations. D. Applicable law and venue. To the fullest extent permitted by applicable law, you and Twitch agree that if you are a subscribing organization or consumer resident of the jurisdiction other than those in 2 and 3 below, the following governing law and arbitration provision applies. UCL. I knew you'd want out here. Go on. Go on. You're looking at it. I knew you want out. There you go. It's like a cat. He only wants in the room when the door's closed on the other side. Please read the following carefully because it requires you to arbitrate disputes with Twitch and limits the manner in which you can seek relief from Twitch. A. You and Twitch agree to arbitrate any dispute arising from these terms of service or your use of the Twitch services, except that you and Twitch are not required to arbitrate any dispute in which either party seeks equitable and other relief for the alleged unlawful use of copyrights, trademarks, trade names, logos, trade secrets, or patents. Arbitration prevents you from suing in court or from having a jury trial. You and Twitch agree that you will notify each other in writing of any dispute within 30 days of when it arises. Notice of which shall be sent to Twitch Interactive Inc. I don't know what ATN is. ATTN. Legal, 350 Bush Street, 2nd floor, San Francisco, CA 94104. You and Twitch further agree to accept informal resolution prior to any demand for arbitration. Any arbitration will occur in Santa Clara County, California. That arbitration will be conducted confidentially to a single arbitrator in accordance with the rules of JAMS, and the state or federal courts in Santa Clara County, California have exclusive jurisdiction over any appeals of an arbitration award, cover any suit between the parties not subject to arbitration. Other than class procedures and remedies discussed below, the arbitrator has an authority to grant any remedy that would otherwise be available in court. B. Any dispute between the parties will be governed by disagreement in the laws of the state of California and applicable United States law without giving effect to any conflict of law principles that may provide for the application of the law of another jurisdiction. B. Whether the dispute is heard in arbitration or in court, you and Twitch will not commence against the other a class action, class arbitration, or other representative action or proceeding. 2. For residents of the European Union and of the European Economic Area, the United Kingdom or Switzerland who are acting as a consumer, the service and any disputes, claims, or causes of action arising out of or in connection with them will be governed by the laws of the state of California and applicable United States law, provided that this choice of governing law will not deprive you of the protection afforded to you by provisions that cannot be derogated by agreement by virtue of the laws applicable where you habitually reside. In such cases, disputes will be resolved in the competent civil courts as determined by applicable law. My mom must have probably heard me yelling about Twitch. No, she didn't. Okay. 3. If you are a resident of any jurisdiction other than those named 2, in which the arbitration provision in the section 1A above is found to be unenforceable, that any disputes, claims, or causes of action arising out of or in connection with these terms of service shall be brought and resolved by the state or federal courts in San Francisco County, California, if required by applicable law, then by competent civil courts within your jurisdiction of residence. If the governing law provision in in 1B is found to be unenforceable, the laws of your jurisdiction of residence shall govern. Sheesh. Okay. There's more. E claims, to the extent permitted by applicable law, you and Twitch agree that any cause of action arising out of or related to the Twitch services must commence within 1 year after the cause of action accrues. Otherwise, such cause of action is permanently barred. 19. Miscellaneous. A. Waiver. Fail to exercise or enforce any right or provision of these terms of services it will not constitute a waiver of such right or provision. Hold on. Okay. Where was I? I don't know. We're just going to go to the next one. B. Severability. Any provision of these terms of service is held to be unlawful, void, or for any reason unenforceable, then that provision will be limited to, eliminated from these terms of service to the minimum extent necessary and will not affect the validity and enforceability of any remaining provisions. C. Assignment. Survival. Oh, okay. C. Assignment. To the extent permitted by applicable law, these terms of service and any rights or licenses guaranteed hereunder may not be transferred or assigned by you. That may be assigned by Twitch without restriction. When any assignment attempted to be made in violation of these terms of service shall be void. D. Survival. Upon termination of these terms of service, any provision which by its nature or express terms should survive will survive such termination or expiration, including but not limited to sections 7 through 10, 14, and 16 through 19. E. Entire agreement. Terms of service which incorporate the guidelines of the entire agreement between you and Twitch relating to the subject matter herein and will not be modified except by a writing signed by authorized representatives of both parties or by a change to these terms of service made by Twitch as set forth in section 6 above. 20. Contact information. The Twitch services are offered by Twitch Interactive Inc., 350 Bush Street, 2nd floor, San Francisco, California. Sorry, this is a lot of words. 94104. USA. If you are a California resident, you may have the same information emailed to you by sending a letter to the foregoing address with your email address and a request for this information. Twitch Interactive Inc. is a company registered in the U.S. state of Delaware under file number 4221511. For questions or more information, please visit our help desk or write to us at the address above and customer support. For questions or more information, please visit. I'm reading the same thing now. The UE Commission provides a platform for online dispute resolution at https://ec.europa.eu/consumers/ODR. Please note that Twitch is not obliged to participate in such dispute resolution. It's the last one. Finally. It's the last one. Okay. 21. Requests for information on how to serve a sub... Oh, yeah? I don't know. All requests for information or documents related to potential, anticipated, or current legal proceedings, investigations, or disputes must be made using the appropriate level of legal process must be properly served on Twitch via the Corporation Service Company, CSC, which is a national registered agent. Please find below the California address for CSC. The CSC office at your jurisdiction may be located through the Secretary of the State's website. Twitch Interactive Inc. C/O Corporation Service Company, 2710 Gateway Oaks Drive, Suite 150 in Sacramento, California 95833. Please note, to the extent permitted by applicable law, Twitch does not accept requests for information or documents or service of process via email or fax, and will not respond to such requests. All requests must include the information you may have that will help us identify the relevant records, particularly the Twitch service at issue, Twitch username at issue, e.g. http://www.twitch.tv/username, the specific information requested, and its relationship to your investigation. Please also note that limiting your request to the relevant records, usually a limited time period, will facilitate efficient processing of your request. Okay, I'm done. Yep. 50 minutes of my life.